Hello guys, welcome back. And since we have seen the CSS box model and I believe we have understood that, so let us dive in and see in this lesson, properties of the width and height and how to manipulate them in CSS. I'll go to my code. So of course, to define the width of this guy, we can say width. Let's say width maybe 300 px like this. Let us say height. I'm doing this intentionally so that you can see what happens here. So if I say 100 px for height, now if I go to the browser, as you can see now our paragraph has been condensed to fit on that width and height. And just to show you for now, we'll look at border, but let me just put a border here and say border. Let me just do something quick here so that you can be able to see our guy actually is working. We said 1pd instead of 1px. All right. So we have our border there. And let me just add, okay, let me say 3. I go here. I just want you to see what happens. Okay, let me just also add the thickness of the border. Again, that is fine. So as you can see, I define the height. I define the height of 100 px and the width of 300 px. And what happens is that the content inside our guy here has been, it is much more as compared to the size of the container, which is the paragraph in our case. So in that case, you can be able to define how you want the extra content to be seen in the paragraph. So there are a couple of properties that you can apply that will restrict or will define how the content of the paragraph will be seen on the browser. The extra content that does not fit on the container is actually known as overflow. So you can say overflow, overflow, then you can say maybe visible. That will just mean I want to see the extra content by default. So if I go here, um, nothing will change. And then I can say also overflow hidden. This will hide the extra content which is going outside the container. So if I go back here, let's do a refresh and see. You see the content has been hide which was outside the container. And again, if I go here, I can see that I want the content which is outside the container. When there's too much content, I want you to add a scroll so that someone can scroll and view that content. So if I go back here, do a refresh, now you can see we have a scroll. So now I can scroll down. I can scroll if the content is extremely long. I can also scroll, horizontally. The other last one I believe is, let me remember. The last one I believe is auto overflow auto. That is, you're telling CSS to basically use its intelligence to manage the content in the best way possible. So if I go back here, do a refresh, I believe it will also allow the scroll to be there, yeah. But now it will do it in a more intelligent way in the sense that if I put scroll, let me just go back and show you something. If I say scroll and go back here, I want you to notice the subtle change that CSS does here. If I put scroll, it puts a scroll for even horizontal overflow, and yet the content hasn't overflowed horizontally, and also for the vertical content. But if I put auto, it only puts the overflow, or it only puts the scroll on the height which actually requires the flow. So it doesn't put this scroll on the horizontal side, but only on the vertical side. That is because the data in this case has flowed or has become more vertically and not horizontally. So those are the main two differences I wanted you to note between the overflow scroll and overflow auto. So that is about overflow, and of course, you have the height, the width. So basically, if you want to define a height and the width for your container or for your element, you can be able to define it like this, and then define overflow to restrict how the content or extra content flows in your container.